Hello, sixth graders. Today we are looking at multiplying multi-digit whole numbers and decimal numbers. So open up your notebook to the next blank spot, and your title that you need to write across the page is this, multiplying multi-digit whole numbers and decimal numbers. And the learning target, you do not have to write that down, but the learning target is I can use the standard algorithm to multiply multi-digit numbers as well as decimal numbers. Now remember, whenever we see this symbol, this is vocab words that you need to write down, so make sure you have these written down in your notes. The first one is the algorithm. This is the rule or the steps that we use when we are solving a problem. Product, this is the answer to a multiplication problem. Okay, so make sure those are both written down. And then this question, what is a multi-digit number? Well, multi means more than one. And we know that a digit is like the numbers, so more than one number. Okay, some examples of this would be 482 or 3,115. Those are multi-digit numbers. Now remember, when we have this symbol over here, that just means things to think about or keep in mind. So the first question here, what is happening when we multiply numbers together? Well, remember, multiplication is repeated addition, so we're adding over and over again, and our answer or our solution is always going to be bigger than what we started with. Okay, so the answer is bigger. So if we had when we're multiplying whole numbers, right, we're multiplying whole numbers together, whatever we started with, our answers are always going to be bigger. Now the next question, how does the decimal part of a number impact multiplication? Now this depends if that decimal number is bigger than 1 or less than 1. If we are multiplying, which we'll learn this as we go, if we're multiplying by a number less than 1, our answer is going to end up smaller. But as we said in the last one, if that decimal number, if it's bigger than 1, then our answer is going to be bigger again. And again, we'll see this as we go. Okay, here I want you to pause and write down these steps. These are our steps that we use when we are multiplying multi-digit numbers together. So step 1, multiply the first number by the ones digit of the second number. Step 2, multiply the first number by the tens digit of the second number. Fill in a 0 to hold the ones place in this product. Remember, product is our answer. Step 3, add both partial products, partial meaning part of the answer, together to find the final product. So pause, write those down, and then we will do some practice problems to see what that means. So we're going to start with 34 times 67. So I'm going to stack those on top of each other. Multiply the first number by the ones digit of the second number. So that means take the 7 and multiply it by take the 7 and multiply it by each of the digits in 34. So 7 times 4 is 28. Put down my 8, regroup the 2. Now I'm going to do 7 times 3, which is 21 plus 2. 21 plus 2 is 23. Next one, multiply the first number by the tens digit of the second number. Fill in a 0 to hold the place, or to hold the ones place in this product. I'm going to cross this out because I'm done with it. Now I'm moving over to the 6. Because I'm moving over to the tens place, I have to fill in a 0 in the ones place. Now we're going to multiply the 6 by each of the numbers across the top. So 6 times 4 is 24, so I'm going to put down a 4. Regroup the 2 up above. Now 6 times 3 is 18, plus the 2 I just regrouped, which is 20. Step 3, add both partial products. These are your partial products. We are going to add those together to find the final product or the final answer. So 8 plus 0, 3 plus 4, 2 plus 0, and 2 for a final answer of 2,278. If you feel comfortable, do this next one on your own. Otherwise, we'll continue to go through it together. 45 times 30, stack them on top of each other. Start with the 0, multiply by each thing across the top. So 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 4 is 0. Now I'm done with the ones place. I'm moving over, so I fill in a 0 here. And now we multiply by 3 across each number. So 3 times 5 is 15, regroup the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 we regrouped, which is 13. Step 3, add the partial products together. 0 plus 0, 0 plus 5, bring down the 3 and the 1, 1,350. Now if I think about this, does my answer make sense? This is really close to 50 times 30, which 5 times 3 is 15. Add the 2 zeros on, so my answer should be somewhere close to that, which it is. So it's always good to do that estimate to check, does my answer really make sense? Okay, so at this point, it would be great if you could pause and try them on your own and then come back and watch. Otherwise, like I said, continue to follow along with us here. So 456 times 34, we're going to first start by stacking those on top of each other, putting the 456 on the top, the 34 on the bottom. Start with the 4 and multiply by each number across the top. So 4 times 6 is 24, regroup my 2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 2 I regrouped is 22, regroup the 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus the 2 I regrouped, 17, 18. Now I'm done with the 4, cross all this out so I don't accidentally use it again. Now I'm moving over a place value, fill in with a 0. Now 3 times each number across the top, so 3 times 6 is 18, regroup the 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1, which is 16, regroup the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 1 I just regrouped, which is 13. Now with each of those partial products, we're going to add them together. 4 plus 0, 8 plus 2 is 10, 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 6 is 15, 3, 4, 5, bring down the 1, 15,504. Next one, 813 times 724. Again, if you're feeling comfortable, pause and try it on your own. Start by stacking the numbers on top of each other. Now we're going to start with the 4 and multiply by everything across the top. So 4 times 3 is 12, regroup the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 4 times 8 is 32. Done with the 4, I'm moving over one spot, so I fill in with 1 0. I'm going to just go ahead and erase this part here. Okay. Now we're on to the 2. We're going to multiply 2 by everything across the top. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Done with the 2. Now I'm moving over to the 7. The 7 is the hundreds place, so we're going to fill in the 1s and the 10s with a 0. So 2 spots. Now multiply 7 by everything across the top. 7 times 3 is 21. Put down the 1, regroup my 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus the 2 I regrouped, which is 9. And 7 times 8 is 56. Add all of those partial products. Notice I was very careful about keeping my numbers lined up so that I don't mess up any place values. 5 plus 6 is 11. Regroup. This would be 3 and 3, which is 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Regroup the 1. 6, 7, 8. Bring down the 5. Count over 1, 2, 3 spots. Add my comma. 588,612. Okay, so now here we want to think about what's different between these two problems. So before we go through and say, here's what you do when you're multiplying decimals, I want you to look at these problems and see if you can figure out what we would do or how our answer would be different. And then we're going to talk more about this in class. So take a look at this problem, 25 times 4. You probably know what 25 times 4 is, or you're able to solve it on paper, which is fine as well. But if you can figure out this problem, 25 times 4, how do you think that answer might be similar to this problem, 25 times 4 tenths? They are similar. We have the same digits. We're multiplying by a 25 and a 4 on both of them. But in the second problem, we have a decimal point. So how would that make our answer different? Okay, or how could we use the place values of those numbers to figure out what our final answer would be? And if we're multiplying by a number less than 1, which we are on this one, how's that going to affect our answer? So think about it, maybe give it a try and see what you can come up with. How do the answers between these two problems differ? Okay, now looking at these two problems, if we have 105 times 21, how might our answer be different if we were to take 10 and 5/10 multiplied by 2 and 1/10? Okay, which one is going to have the bigger answer? Which one would be smaller? And how are our answers going to be different? Again, we have the same digits, but this time our place values are different. So how is that going to affect our answer? Okay, and then same thing here. We have 324 times 12. And how would that answer differ than 3 and 2400ths times 12? So on this one, go ahead and give this one a try in your notebook. Try and actually solve that. And then give this one a try. 3 and 2400ths times 12. And think back when I talked about that estimating. Use that to figure out what answer would make sense. 3 and 2400ths times 12. What do you think the decimal point affects? Where do you think it maybe needs to go in order for our final answer or our product to make sense? And then lastly, I want you to write down in your notebook, so add this onto your notes here, what are you noticing or what are you wondering still about multiplying whole numbers and decimals? And then we'll talk about those in class. So actually write a couple things down in your notebook about what you're noticing and have those in class tomorrow. So that's our video for multiplying whole numbers and an intro to multiplying decimal numbers. Look back over, make sure you have everything that you need, the title, vocab, examples, all of those things. Check to see your understanding. Is this something that you could explain to somebody else? If you're still stuck or confused, you can always go back and rewatch. And then please make sure to put your notes in your backpack right now so that you have them in class tomorrow.